Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Reality Skewed Gamers review of Star Wars shows. And of course, we're back for another episode of The Bad Batch. I'm your boy Ranger J 1999. That hunk of lunk of burning love over there is Big K, the Cashmere, and we are reviewing episode 11, The Metamorphosis. Yes,
Yes.
good. And oh boy, thank God. After last episode, I think we were both a little frustrated with where Bad Batch was going. But man, this was a really good episode. It was really,
Yes.
really bloody good. Finally, man, what the hell took them so long?
Yeah.
I
They
really
redeemed
dug this
themselves.
episode. A lot happens in this episode, and it's setting up some things. And I think what we hoped for is it's starting to lead the Bad Batch down a certain path. And yeah, I'm digging it, man. Where do you want to start off with? I mean, we're not going to go bit by bit through, but
Yeah.
just the general story points here. I mean, basically, is they just got off the planet. There's two story arcs here. There's starts off with the ship. We don't know what the ship is. We just see one of the they're called a certain type of trooper. I can't remember what they're
Clone
called.
Commando or Clone Commando.
Yeah, cloak commando trooper, and you see something get him, and not good. It's a very horror kind of episode, right?
Yep.
Um, you see that in the beginning. You see the ship that's listing, it's been damaged, and then it's going to crash on this planet. Then we get into the main. There's two story arcs here. There's what's going on with the Bad Batch going after this ship, but then there's also what the Empire's up to, and that's really cool. But one thing I will say is that in the beginning part, when we first get back to the Bad Batch, they do confront Sid. Remember, we were talking about that
Yes.
too. They let her have it, and on top of that, and Sid's being pushed. She always fights back,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they're like, talking about breaking away from Sid, and if they do,
Mhm.
she knows who they are. Blah blah blah. They're gonna have to deal with this. I like that foreshadowing there, Big K.
Yep. Yep. It's about time that conversation was had.
Yeah, and they confronted her, and I liked it, like you left this there, and
Yeah.
then she would fire back some bullshit, and they're like, no, you know,
Yeah. And even Omega was like, she
mm-hmm.
was like, almost like the tough one of them. Kind of.
Letting her
They
have
should
it,
have got
man.
her.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yep.
Um, but yeah,
So they ended up telling.
Sid gets in contact with him and tells him about the ship. They haggle about the price. They talk about Sid and that they're gonna have to break away from her, but what to do with that because she knows. There. So they have that conversation, but they head to this wreckage. Not much intelligence, but we also get to the Empire side. You see a sign that, and we knew about this before. The Empire is still trying to do cloning stuff, but now it's
Mm-hmm.
changed its purpose. And they have a great scene with the lead. I don't know if we've ever seen him before. The
No,
lead
he's a
geneticist.
new he's like a new scientist, Dr. Hemlock,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes to where Nala Se is being held prisoner, kind of like,
At the facility where they're doing all this stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
hey, don't you want to be part of this? This is gonna be big stuff
For
that's happening.
science, aren't you a scientist?
Yes.
And and we can do great things for the Empire. And she makes a really great remark. That would have been great if the Empire had not wiped out my entire civilization.
Yeah.
So yeah.
She understandably is holding a grudge about that.
And then he starts thinking of some other ways he's going to try to motivate her. He threatens her and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But then they find out that they've lost contact with this ship that was supposed to be bringing
Shit.
this creature or specimen, whatever you want to refer to it as.
Mhm.
And so they send in their task force to go get it. Boy, what a task force they send.
Oh yeah.
Uh, oh boy. Clone commandos and all kinds of shit they send. And then so now we get back to the Bad Batch. They get to the ship, right? And
Hmm.
they get in. Omega's familiar with it because there's a lot of Camino technology in there. But they're trying to figure out like what the hell happened to the
Yeah.
crew, what happened to everybody here. They're looking at the damages. Tech goes off to get the ship up and going. And he does that while they're looking at this kind of cell area.
Hmm.
And then they run into the creature. And it's the same creature that was on Coruscant in the Clone Wars, is what they're
Yeah.
saying.
So yeah, there was an arc where there was some battle somewhere, and Anakin and Obi-Wan get kind of trapped with this beast, and even the lightsabers I don't believe were doing damage to it.
Mhm.
They end up bringing it to Coruscant, and Palpatine like fell in love with this creature, just saw its potential, even though they had to end up killing it, thinking it was the last one.
But it wasn't the last one, apparently.
Oh,
So,
but wait.
so this creature's ability is its genetics allow it to it it grows by consuming energy, and I mean raw energy, like electricity, power, that kind of thing. And just eating, because you saw it eating that one
Yeah.
clone commando with its everything, consuming it. But power directly causes it to metamorphose into a much more bigger, stronger, deadlier.
Meaner.
Yeah, it was kind
Yeah.
of like an episode of Godzilla, at the end here with this creature, how big it gets because it gets to one of the main power conduits. Because the ship crashes near a settlement, the city,
Mhm.
and so the Bad Batch confront this thing. They can't stop it. Tech saves it by blowing. It was next to a power source. He shoots it and knocks it out of the ship, and then it starts. It can see where the power is, so it
And it
goes for that,
goes.
and it starts growing. And so you've got Tech and Omega. And I'll tell you this: the scene where they first run into this creature and start fighting it, you can see like the terrified looks on Omega's face. They did a really good job of
Yeah.
capturing that. Because they were shooting it, it's not doing any damage to it. It does scare it off. I mean, I'm sure it does feel something, but
Hmm.
he didn't like the blaster bolts. But it was a really good, like scary horror kind of scene in that scene, which I really like. So the creature gets away, gets to the power company, it gets huge. Tech and Omega stay behind just to try to gather as much data as they can. And then Hunter and Wrecker are in the ship trying to fight this thing, not doing a damn thing to it, shooting it and all kinds of stuff, nothing's happening. Then the Empire comes in. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Then they take over, blow up the ship, Tech and Omega get out of there, go after the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch eventually gets away, but they've got the equipment and stuff to stop this creature, to
Hmm.
save the town, and they capture it because they've got what they need to do so. Um, a really ominous thing that they showed in this episode is, I was wondering, okay, yeah, all these clone commandos, there's hundreds of them, right? They round up all the civilians.
Yep.
Like they're
There
gonna
was not
keep.
going to be a witness.
There's not gonna be any witnesses.
Nope.
They don't say what they're gonna do to the witnesses, but it's the Empire,
Yeah.
and I can only imagine what's gonna happen to these poor people. They just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. They didn't
Hmm.
do a damn thing wrong.
The ship crashed on their planet
Just happened to
by
be in the wrong place, wrong time. And the episode ends with the Bad Batch, if I'm not mistaken. The Bad Batch going through the files that they have and seeing that there's a lot the Empire wants here with that, and
Yeah.
why Palpatine, when he was Chancellor Palpatine, wanted this project up and running. And then we get to the final thing, back to the geneticist area. They bring the creature in, secure it, all that stuff. They're talking about it. The head guy is they bring the prime minister there, to
Hmm.
motivate. He makes a deal with him, and he tells the guy about Omega, and that
Yep.
sets that up as the future content that's going to come in to motivate the other Camino. She's got a fondness for Omega, and that would be the
Hmm.
motivation she would need to continue her work. A lot of good stuff in this episode.
Yeah.
Really, the action scenes were really good too. I mean, I cannot stress that you really see the terror and the panic, that the Bad Batch, who are, these are
Hmm.
seasoned folks, but, even Hunter's like, let's get the hell out of here, like,
Never
hell no,
seen
we can't
anything
stop this
like
thing. We're not
this.
fighting this thing. Um, it was really good, man. I mean, I really give this episode a much higher rating than last week. I'll give it here in a second, but I want to get your thoughts on the overall episode. That's just a quick surmise there, JK. But what were some of the things you pulled from this episode? What'd you like about it? Those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, like really everything. The action was awesome. Like this showed what they should have been doing all season. They can have good
Yes,
action. They can move the story forward. They can set up what's going to happen next. We they laid the groundwork. We know what the rest of the season basically is going to be. Um, a couple of like little things like Sid basically said you better come back with something,
Yeah.
and they're coming back with nothing. So that's going to be
Oh, and
interesting
I
to
bet
even
you they're
just
gonna be
see
pissed
that
at Sid. Like,
conversation.
yeah, what'd you send us to go get, you stupid?
Yeah, well, she didn't know. Like no one knew
I
what it
know,
was.
but
All
you
they
know
knew
how that's
was,
gonna play. It's like, yeah, you got
yeah,
to quit sending us. You didn't have any intel. What'd you expect to, anything? Murphy's Law, dum dum.
yeah,
And if you don't have anything, don't come back. I mean, Sid's man,
mhm.
she's man, I really hate Sid, man.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
love that they had that
They
conversation. Like, we gotta get away from her, man. She's bad news.
yeah, and I think they're gonna say F it. We're let's take the chance and get away from her. They download that information, all the information they have, they download it and they send it off to Rex and Echo so that they can
Oh
do something
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
And I think it's setting up that um, they're gonna start helping. They're gonna start helping. Um, and one thing I wonder about in the beginning of the first couple of episodes, they really hammered Echo and Omega's kind of relationship and then building that relationship. And
Yeah.
then Echo leaves. They're kind of doing the same thing now with Tech.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, at some point, something's got to happen to the, like, we know they're not going to make it.
Well, we don't
All of
know.
them are
They
not
could
going to
make
make
it.
it.
They could just be in a different part of the galaxy. I mean, you got
Yeah,
to
they
think
could,
everyone
but
says that they're going to die off, and people like, well, why was it? I think it's a galaxy. Do you know how
yeah,
big a galaxy is? It's
yeah.
huge. Like, you can't even, the
I
numbers are extraordinary. And, there's parts of this galaxy, even in this timeline, that have not been explored or not even, they haven't got to yet. I mean, that's how big this galaxy
yeah.
is.
But
Um,
I'm wondering if they're setting up something for kind of Tech to take something, from and save Omega or
it
something like
it could
that.
be. I mean, we could see, we don't know what's going to eventually happen to the Bad Batch, what their
Yeah.
story's going to be, and where they end up. They're not normal clones. They're
Mm,
different, and they were meant to be different. So there's a lot we know, but there's a lot we don't know. And the
yeah.
thing that keeps me interested in the Bad Batch, because I want to know what happens to these characters. Where do they end up? I mean,
Oh
or
yeah.
and where does their story arc go? But this really did a good job. I mean, it was really action packed. It was a great episode. I really
Hmm.
love this episode. I give this a 4 out of 5 Bad Batch. It was really good. I mean, it really had some really intense moments, and the story, the dialogue was really good. The plot, the
Hmm.
stuff that we were bitching about the previous episode. We're like, here we go again with this filler bullshit.
Yeah.
Um, get them off the damn planet. Why they got to have some, get their ship, get the hell off the planet, but they had to go have some adventure. Okay, I get it.
Hmm.
But this gets into the meat and potatoes, the heart of what we're looking. I really like this. I mean, what would you give
Yeah.
this rating and overall
I
thoughts?
I'm giving this a 4.25 because this is what I've
Wow.
been waiting for. Yeah, and I thought this was. I just You just know it's setting up the rest of the season. You know, the hunt for Omega. Crosshair's got to get involved now.
Yeah.
Um,
Cody, Crosshair,
yeah, yeah, like
Echo, Tech,
yeah,
the
yeah.
whole.
This is screaming. Crosshair to lead the next. Let's find the Bad Batch. Let's find Omega. Um, type of scenario. It'll be interesting, and it'll be interesting to see who they. I guess like who's now in charge now that I forgot the guy's name. The guy that got played by Palpatine. Who's going
Oh,
to now
the
lead
Admiral, yeah,
are
whatever
they
his
going to
name.
bring in Tarkin? Like, hey, we need to. This is the Emperor's pet project. We need to get somebody on this good, and Tarkin just kind of like my boy Crosshair will take care of this.
Maybe. I mean, we
Something.
don't know.
Yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
there's a
yeah, it'll
lot
be
of
interesting.
different, but it's coming together nicely. And I was hoping that
Yeah.
these final episodes would really tie in the whole series. It's interesting. I think it was Cart says he hasn't watched it from start to beginning yet, and a few other people mentioned they're waiting to binge the whole thing. I think if you
Hmm.
binge it, it might be different because when you watch it weekly, it's a little bit it's different, right? Because you only have that week's episode. But I
Yeah,
think if you watch it congruently, you'll have a different feel for the overall feel of the Bad Batch, because there are some spectacular episodes this season. I mean,
there are.
fantastic stuff. I think we talked about it, episode 3, 7, 6, 7, and 8 were really, really good. 7 and 8
Mhm.
especially. 10 was actually really good. Then or 9 was actually good, but then 10 was like,
Yeah.
okay, god dang it. Because there's been those arcs, because it's like, 1 and 2 are like, huh. And then, 3 happens, you're like, yes. And then 4 and 5
Yes.
happen, you're like, okay, I get it. There's some character development here. Not bad episodes, but they just weren't like what I was looking for.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, this one's got me going, man. I'm interested to see what happens now. Like what's gonna happen, because now the Bad Batch are on the Empire's radar again, because they want Omega
Yeah.
to get what's her name to do her stuff for the cloning stuff that they're looking to do. And we know this all ties back in, which I really loved. This all ties back in to even the Mandalorian, because it's all deals go back to Grogu and everything that's going to lead up to
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, it's really I like the little tie-ins and stuff.
Yeah, they can tie in everything, anything they want. It's all set up.
Yeah, because there's even I think they even had I think it was Mando season 1 where they went to a cloning facility that was one of the Empire's cloning facilities.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. I mean, this is setting up some good stuff. So overall, good stuff. So let us know in the
Yep.
comments what you think on Bad Batch episode 11, the Metamorphosis. You can feel free to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, leave comments. Let us know what you're feeling about it. We always appreciate any comments, insights you might have. Just keep it constructive, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, that's cool too.
Mhm.
You can leave those kind of comments on there as well. And we'll be back for next week, which is going to be episode 12, which is called what there, Big K?
The Outpost.
The Outpost. So we will do that. So on behalf of myself and Big K, thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you may be. We'll see you next time.